At darts events, there's always lots of security due to the rowdiness of the crowds, and you can always see them on the walk-ons to protect the players. But over the years, there's actually been a few occasions where security have not had to protect the players, rather separate them during angry incidents. Hello and welcome back to the Darts World. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the moments where security have had to separate angry darts players. Jose Justicia is a Spanish player who made a name for himself in the soft tip side of the game, where he became a world champion back in 2012. 6 years later, he made a full-time move over to the steel tip game when he won a PDC Tour card through the European Q School Order of Merit as a part of a stacked Q School class, which also saw the likes of Nathan Aspinall, Ross Smith, Danny Noppert and Dirk van Dijvenbode pick up cards. The opening event on the tour that year was the first UK Open qualifier, which back then all the big names had to play in to make it to Minehead, and Jose went on a great run, beating Titus Karnik, Luke Woodhouse, Christoph Ratajski, Johnny Clayton and Dave Prince to reach the quarter-final stage. He was then drawn to face former UK Open champion and two-time back-to-back world champion Adrian Lewis, who had a much easier run on the day to that point. Adrian won 3 of the first 4 legs to go 3-1 up before an incident began to kick off in leg 5. Jose seemed to accuse Adrian of stepping up behind him or making noise when he was throwing at double 4. Lewis was then distracted by something Jose did when walking back from the board. When Jose next threw for a double, he stepped back and accused Lewis of distracting him. Jose won that leg, as well as the next 2, and then in the 8th leg, after he hit a 177, there was more drama, with the players exchanging heated words. The Spaniard then began laughing and smirking, which further annoyed Lewis. After Jose missed 3 darts at double, Lewis went over to confront him by the board, physically touching him and getting in his face. Adrian won that leg and then pointed his fingers and shouted at Jose, with some bad language being heard on the stream. The players then settled down over the following few legs, during which Adrian managed to wrap up a 6-5 win. The players then pointed at things and continued to call each other out. Adrian then grabbed Jose by the neck before the players were separated by security, who pushed Lewis away from the area. Shortly after the game, the PDC tweeted out the following: "The incidents which occurred during and at the end of the Adrian Lewis v Jose Justicia quarter-final match at today's UK Open qualifier have been referred to the Darts Regulation Authority for immediate consideration." Then, an hour later, they released the following statement: "Following a review of the incidents which occurred in his match with Jose Justicia, the Darts Regulation Authority have suspended Adrian Lewis with immediate effect, pending a full investigation to the matter. The player has a right to appeal." A few days later, at a hearing, Lewis admitted to a rules breach and was given a 3-month ban, suspended for 6 months, and a fine of £3,000. Adrian followed this announcement with his own statement, in which he said the following: "I deeply regret that my frustrations got the better of me, as I felt my opponent was trying to provoke me. I realise now that I should have reported any problems to the tournament officials instead of confronting Jose after the match." Towards the end of the year, in Jose's final Players' Championship appearance of the season, Adrian and him had a rematch, which Lewis won 6-4, and both players did shake hands afterwards. Lewis was involved in a similar incident at the 2021 Players' Championship finals, which he began with a comfortable 6-3 win over Kim Huybrechts. He then faced snakebite Peter Wright and was a big outsider with highest odds of 3-1. But it was Adrian who got the better start, breaking through in leg 6 to go 4-2 up in the first of 6 game. But Wright then fought back and managed to force a deciding leg where he broke through to get the win. After the game, there was a confrontation between the players, with Adrian seemingly accusing Wright of cheating. The argument continued to go on for a minute or so, during which a security guard came on to separate them. If we look back at the earlier incident, it was actually the same security guard who came to remove Lewis from the stage. Lewis tweeted the following after the game: "He said to me there was a loose floorboard and I found it. So my response to him was, you took me out of my rhythm, you had a game plan, and as world number 2, it's disgraceful, and you're nothing but a cheat." He knew what he was doing. As soon as I went 3-1 up, he started muttering things and shaking his head at me, which put me in a situation that made me feel uncomfortable. The people who I fall out with will always have to be the ones apologising because they know I'm not a cheat, never have been, never will be. Wright responded with the following: "I'm not bothered about Adrian and the comments. People, if they want to put stupid messages on there, put stupid messages. It doesn't bother me because I don't go on it. I just go to play my game and plod on. Peter went on to win the title in another deciding leg against Ryan Searle. Mark Webster is a Welsh player who became the BDO Lakeside World Champ back in 2008 when he beat Simon Whitlock in the final. He made the move over to the PDC in 2009 and in 2010 he won his first PDC title at a Players' Championship in Germany. He started off 2011 with a famous World Championship quarter-final win against the then dominant Phil Taylor, and towards the end of the year he reached a major final at the Players' Championship finals. However, over the following years his form began to deteriorate, and in 2014 he only appeared in 2 majors. This decline was due to dartitis, with Webster saying the following: 2014 time, I just remember thinking, what's going on here? I know it's very much a mental thing. I refuse to use the word dartitis just as a mental thing. I called it a technical issue, but I knew it was just getting worse and players were starting to notice it as well. Despite the issues, he did manage to continue to compete on the tour over the years that followed, and in 2017 he managed to beat Ryan Searle to qualify for his second Eurotour event of the year, the European Darts Grand Prix in Sindelfingen, Germany. At the event, where he was still clearly struggling with dartitis, he began with a 6-4 round 1 win over home nation qualifier Wright, in which Webby averaged just 81. Mark then faced the machine James Wade and headed into the match as a big outsider at 3-1. In the early stages of the game, where he was struggling a lot with his issues, he went 4-2 down. However, he then recovered to force a deciding leg, which he managed to win to move through to the last 16. There was then a strong exchange of words between the two, and they appeared to attempt to square up to each other before they were separated by referee Wright. And look who it is, the same security guard from the first 2 incidents entered the stage to separate the players and get Wade off so that Webster could give his post-match interview where he revealed what James was angry at.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I was a bit frustrated in the beginning. I threw a couple of darts away. He was a bit annoyed with that, but it's his job to jump on that. You know, he's having a go at me at the end there. I'm sure we'll sort it out. And I'm not playing well. I drag players down. That's what I do at the minute. I'm afraid. I'm not apologising because I want to win. I want to try and get out of this slump. And if I can pinch a victory against the world number 5, I'll take it. I'm not apologising for anything. I've won the game and look forward to tomorrow now.
He went on to lose 6-1 to Jelle Klaasen in the next round and never made it to a Eurotour quarter-final again. Sheffield was night 14 of 15 in the 2018 Premier League, and Gerwyn Price and Daryl Gurney met in a key game in the battle for 4th spot. Price would be eliminated from finals night contention if he lost. At this time, Price was still regularly being subject to heavy booing as a result of his incident with Gary Anderson in the 2018 Grand Slam final and general over-the-top celebrations. The bookies couldn't split it, with both players priced at 1.9, and it was very close, at one point being 6-all in a best of 14 match when Price took out 96 despite heavy booing and then celebrated by riling up the crowd. In the next leg, Price missed a match start at double 13 before Gurney took out 64 to get a big 7-all draw. He celebrated by mocking Price behind his back. The players then clashed and exchanged some angry words when they went to shake hands, and security had to enter the stage to separate them. It was clear that Gurney had been the initial aggressor, and on the following day he tweeted the following: "Last night I would like to publicly apologise for my overreaction in my match with Gerwyn. We have spoken and he's accepted this. Sorry to anyone that took offence. It was such a high pressure match with lots riding on it." Price responded with the following: "Just had a catch up with Daryl and accepted his apology for being out of order last night. A heat of the moment reaction. Life's too short to have enemies and hold grudges. See you tomorrow, mate." The result meant that both Price and Gurney sat outside the top 4 with 1 week to go, but after a win on the final league night, Gurney moved up to 3rd, whilst Gezi missed out on leg difference. Are there any darts incidents you want me to cover? Let me know in the comment section down below, as well as what you think about the incidents in this video. And if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as it really helps out, as currently just 15% of my viewers are. You can also hit the bell icon if you want to get notified whenever I upload a brand new darts video. If you learned something new, please also leave a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.